Glad to welcome in Jake Marsh of Barstool Sports, host of Barstool Bench Mob, as well as part of the Part of My Take crew. Now, Jake, you have the unique perspective of going to Vermont, calling games for Vermont, and you experienced Fayetteville for the first time this season. I want to start there. What was your trip like to Fayetteville, Arkansas, before the season began?
First off, thanks for having me on. Very excited for this game on Thursday night. The Barstool Bench Mob crew and I, we went down to Fayetteville for a little SEC road trip. Went to Tuscaloosa as well. We went to JJ's after, going to practice, seeing all the Arkansas facilities, taking pictures with Coach Musk. But unfortunately, the only thing that people remember from that trip is my infamous handshake with Coach Musk. The viral handshake. I think it's up to like 600,000 views right now, but I do post it after every Arkansas win, trying to lean into it a little bit. But yeah, he's great. The program's great. The town was fun as well.
Jake, you've got a good feel of this basketball team. Tell our audience about the two leading scorers and how they could present problems for Arkansas.
Yeah, in my opinion, and again, there's a little bias. I was the voice of the team for 2 years, but I think Vermont has the best 1-2 punch in all of mid-major basketball. You have the guard, Ben Shungu, who, a little fun fact, he is a South Burlington, Vermont native. So in the town he grew up playing for and living in, he's playing for the Catamounts on the biggest stage in the sport. He's number 24. He was Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago. He's the heartbeat of this team. I think everyone in the program would agree with that. And then you have the reigning American East Player of the Year. That's Ryan Davis, number 35. The thing with him, when I was there, he couldn't really shoot the ball consistently. I remember our first road trip when I was with the team, it was at Kansas, and he was airballing threes at Allen Fieldhouse. And now he can shoot confidently, he can shoot consistently, and his post-up game is good as well. I think he obviously has his hands full with Jalen Williams, but I think he's capable of holding his own.
When you look at this bracket and how it sets up, I think it's very intriguing. You've got two Northeastern schools on that side, the Catamounts and the Yukon Huskies. Duke's on the other side of the region. Gonzaga would be the likely Sweet 16 team that you would have to play in San Francisco unless Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers have something to say about that. Jake, what stood out to you about this region?
I think the fact that Gonzaga and Duke got paired up together is interesting because obviously the two teams played each other in November, and Duke was the better team. So the fact that Coach K in his farewell tour is going to have to take out Mark Few and Gonzaga twice in the same season in order just to get to the Final Four, I think Duke has their hands full because on that bottom half of the region, you also have Texas Tech. You have Alabama, which, as you guys know, is a hit-or-miss team. The play-in winner always seems to get momentum with Rutgers and Notre Dame. And in the top half, you mentioned it as well. I feel like people aren't talking about UConn enough, but I think Gonzaga is still the overwhelming favorite to get to the Elite Eight in that top half of the region.
Jake Marsh, Barstool Sports, host of the Barstool Bench Mob here on the Morning Rush. Jake, when you look at just the coaching matchup, what kind of opposition is Eric Musselman going to face on Thursday night?
Yeah, so you have, selfishly, two of my favorite coaches in the country going head-to-head. You have Eric Musselman, of course, took Arkansas to the Elite Eight last year, trying to get to the Final Four. And on the other side, you have John Becker, who I think there's going to be definitely some talks about him going to a different team after all said and done, and especially if Vermont can pull off the upset. There's 3 openings in the Atlantic 10, I know, and I'm sure there's more to come. So he's definitely going to be a hot name in the coaching carousel, but Coach Becker has been here before. The only thing he hasn't done in his tenure at Vermont is advance to the round of 32. I believe they won a first 4 game as a 16th seed. I think it was 2012 or something like that. But this is the only thing that's missing on John Becker's resume at Vermont. This is his 9th America East championship. They've been 13 seeds the last 2 times. Here we are again for the 3rd time in the last 4 tournaments or 5 tournaments. So I know he, the program, and the city are really eager to get over that hump to repeat the history of what Vermont did to Syracuse in 2005. Of course, the famous T.J.
Sorensen stayed for the parking lot. Oh, man, that's one of my favorite calls in the NCAA tournament. As we embark on this journey once again, and I know technically we had the first 4 last night and we'll have it again tonight, but as we look forward to tomorrow, what is Jake Marsh's favorite part about the NCAA tournament?
For sure, and obviously there's so many to pick from. My dad and I, we had a tradition from when I was in elementary school until I went to college at Syracuse, where we would go to a first-round site every year. So I've been lucky enough to see some really cool upsets, buzzer beaters. The list goes on and on. But the number one that sticks out to me is actually with Vermont. It was something about being on the inside and being part of the travel party. 2019 in the conference championship, we actually played UMBC the year after UMBC beat Virginia. UMBC got in the tournament that year because they beat Vermont on a buzzer beater in the championship game on Vermont's home floor. So 2019, first year I was there, they got revenge against UMBC. They smoked them by 17. And then going to the selection show with the team, we ended up playing in Hartford, Connecticut. So it was kind of a home game. I guess kind of similar to this year. Vermont has a geographical advantage, but I'm sure the Arkansas fans will travel well. But yeah, just calling a March Madness game courtside for the NCAA tournament with guys who I've developed really nice relationships with. I'll never forget that. It was so cool.
Jake, next important question. Buffalo, New York, home of the Buffalo Wings. My buddy and coworker Drew Barrett is down there right now. He's doing the show live all week at the Anchor Bar. I have been intrigued since I saw you guys talk about it. Tell me about the greatness that is Wingnuts.
You know, sometimes you see people hyping something up online and you're like, all right, it can't be that good, can it? It is everything and then some. It is the most. I like wings. They're not my favorite type of food, but I always am down for wings. But it's just there's no close second. And I know that's a crazy statement, but you've seen the pictures that I posted or Big Cat, PFT, whoever. They look amazing. Ed and Alicia, who run the place, they make their wings off of 3 things: size, sauciness, and crunch. And that you really get all 3 of those with every single bite. So I highly recommend any Arkansas fan listening to this, even the team, if they want a pre- or post-game meal, call ahead to Wingnuts because they will sell out quickly.
A minute or 2 left with Jake Marsh of Barstool Sports. Really appreciate him giving us time here on a Wednesday morning. Jake, looking at the bracket, and I have not filled mine out just yet. I'm one of those guys that waits till the last possible moment at about 11 a.m. on Thursday. What are some other intriguing games and matchups that you're salivating over as we get closer to Thursday?
Yeah, I'm with you on waiting till the last minute, specifically because of the first 4. We have Wyoming, Indiana, and Rutgers, Notre Dame. Depending on how they look, maybe I'll get a feel and want them to go to the Sweet 16 or round of 32. So I'm going to hold tight until this morning to submit that. But there's a lot of juicy matchups in the opening round. I know we talked a lot about the West region. Something I'm looking for, maybe as a storyline, and I kind of do this every year, is for some reason every year I have the 8-9 winner beating the 1 somewhere in the bracket. I think there's 2 places where that could happen this year. I think the North Carolina Marquette winner has a chance to knock off Baylor in the round of 32. Baylor obviously losing Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua, and they're the defending champs. The defending champs have a big target on their back. They're not at full strength. And we've seen Shaka Smart make some runs in the tournament as well. And North Carolina's hot right now, of course, taking down Coach K in the end of the farewell tour. And then I'm also looking at Seton Hall TCU. I know Seton Hall has been a little bit of a roller coaster, but Jamie Dixon and TCU, his alma mater, he's been to the tournament plenty of times before. Whereas Arizona, yes, they're amazing. However, Kirk Carissa, I don't know if you saw that picture of his ankle, but I don't know if he'll be 100%. And then Tommy Lloyd, obviously he's a former assistant at Gonzaga, but this is his first rodeo as the head coach. And you're a number 1 seed. There's a lot of pressure. So I wouldn't be shocked to see one of those 1 seeds go down in the second round.
I have to let you go with, are the Catamounts going to get it done against Thursday against our Arkansas Razorbacks?
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted it out immediately after the bracket came out. Coach Musk, he's done a lot for our podcast and building our brand. But 2 years in and out, every day with the team, Vermont. I got to root for my guys. I'm going to take Vermont 74, Arkansas 70, and the Catamounts pull off their biggest win since 2005.
Jake Marsh, Barstool Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at PMT Sports Biz. Jake, appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, thank you for having me.
It's that time of year as college basketball takes center stage with the tournament finally upon us. If you're looking to wager this year, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all your updated odds and info, along with great contests, including the bracket contest, where you can have a chance to take home the top prize. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Bet online, where the game starts.